The W124 was a mid-sized vehicle platform, which entered planning in the autumn of 1976 under development on Scharenberg. In July 1977, the W124 program officially began, with R&D commencing work under newly appointed Werner Breitschwer. In April 1978, decisions were made to base it on the Mercedes-Benz W201 model program. By April 1979, a package plan was completed for the program, laying out the guidelines of the project. During the winter of 1980-1981, the final exterior for the W124 program was completed, chosen as the leading proposal by design director Bruno Sacco, and approved by the Board of Management in early 1981. By mid-1982, the first prototypes reflective of the production design were assembled and sent to testing. In March 1984, pilot production commenced and development of the sedan concluded with engineering sign-off. 6.7. Front suspension used a separate spring and damper with a rubber top mount. The rear suspension of the W124 featured the Mercedes multi-link axle introduced in 1982 with the Mercedes W201 and which is now standard on many modern cars. Estate cars, and optionally, saloons and coupes, had Citroën-like rear self-leveling suspension with suspension struts rather than shock absorbers, gas-filled suspension spheres to provide damping and an under-bonnet pressurizing pump. Unlike the traditional Citroën application, the Mercedes suspension system had a fixed ride height and employed rear coil springs to maintain the static ride height when parked. The W124 was the first Mercedes series to be fitted with the iconic 15-hole, flat-faced alloy wheels characteristic of Mercedes-Benz cars of the 1980s and 1990s. The alloy wheels were nicknamed Gullydeckel, or manhole covers, because they resemble manhole or drainage covers in Germany, which are consistently round in shape with a series of 15 or 16 holes around the outer edge, often within a concentric ring. Gullydeckel wheels in a variety of diameter and offset specifications were later incorporated into the facelift versions of the W126S class, R107SL and W201 190E series, and were also the non-option wheel on the R129SL class roadster. 8. Much of the 124's engineering and many of its features were advanced automotive technology at its introduction, incorporating innovations that have been adopted throughout the industry. 9. It had one of the lowest coefficient of drag CD of any vehicle of the time, 0.28 for the 200/200D model for the European market with 185/65 R15 tires due to its aerodynamic body, that included plastic molding for the undercarriage to streamline airflow beneath the car, reducing fuel consumption and wind noise. It had a single windscreen wiper that had an eccentric mechanism at its base that extended the wiper's reach to the top corners of the windscreen more than if it had traveled in a simple arc. The saloon, sedan, coupes and convertibles had optional rear headrests that would fold down remotely to improve rearward visibility when required. This feature was not available for the T model because of its specific layout, no space to store the retractable headrests, but the Estate serially came with a neighbor-friendly rear door that was pulled in the shut position silently and automatically by a sensor-controlled servomotor. This allowed the use of a tighter-fitting rear gate, minimizing the cabin noise in the T model, sometimes an area of concern for station wagons. The Estate car's chassis designation as 124 came in 5 or 7-seat models, the 7-seater having a rear-facing bench seat that folded flush luggage compartment cover and an optional, in the US until 1994 retractable cargo net. To provide a flat-loading floor with the seat folded down, the T model's rear seat squab was mounted about 10 cm, 3.9 inches higher than in saloons, robbing rear seat passengers of some headroom. 10. The S124 Estate continued in production alongside the new W2